All right, let's jump right into one of the biggest questions out there. The incredible power of our own minds over our bodies. We're going to break down some absolutely groundbreaking new research that might just change how you think about, well, how you think.
So let me just ask you, straight up, do you believe that your thoughts, your focus, your beliefs, can they actually create real, measurable physical changes in your biology? For the longest time, this has felt more like philosophy than hard science. But, that's all starting to change.
Because a new study did something that's frankly never been done before. It didn't just ask if the mind can change the body, it went in and measured it. We're talking deep inside the brain's electrical networks and all the way down to the chemical soup flowing through people's veins. And the results? They're pretty stunning.
Okay, so let's set the stage here. This isn't some brand new question. The connection between what we think and what we feel in our bodies has fascinated people for centuries.
I mean, we've all heard of the placebo effect, right? Where a simple sugar pill can genuinely make someone feel better. And we all know meditation is supposed to be good for us. But the how, that's always been the big mystery. What's the actual biological mechanism that connects a belief or a state of focus to a physical result? Well, this study decided to find out by mashing these techniques together.
So how on earth did they do it? The researchers basically embedded themselves in this intense 7-day retreat to study the effects of this pretty unique mind-body program on a group of healthy people.
And listen, this was no casual weekend getaway. For one solid week, 20 people dove into 33 hours of guided meditation, sat through 25 hours of lectures designed to change their beliefs about healing, and even did 5 hours of healing rituals. Now, this was what's called an open-label placebo, meaning everyone knew they weren't getting a real drug, but they were encouraged to believe in its power. And a really key point here, no drugs, no psychedelics. This was all about the mind. To see what was actually changing, the science team took a whole bunch of detailed measurements right before the retreat started and immediately after it ended. They really focused their analysis on two key spots: what was going on inside people's brains and what was going on in their blood. Okay, let's get into it. All right, first up, the brain. Using these fMRI scanners, the researchers weren't just looking at which parts of the brain lit up, they were looking at how different parts were communicating with each other, the patterns of connection, both when people were just resting and when they were deep in meditation.
Now, to really get what they found, you got to know about one specific brain network, the default mode network, or DMN. The easiest way to think about the DMN is that it's your brain's me network. It's the chatterbox in your head that fires up when your mind wanders, when you're thinking about yourself, stressing about the past, or planning the future. And here's the kicker. What they found was that a typical resting brain kind of works in these separate little neighborhoods. Scientists call a modular state. But when these folks were meditating, whoa, that all changed. The brain became way less modular. The walls between those neighborhoods just dissolved, and the entire network became more connected, more integrated, letting information flow freely across the whole thing.
Yeah, this is a perfect way to picture it. It's like an office going from these quiet, siloed departments where nobody talks to each other to one giant, all-hands-on-deck creative brainstorm where everyone is sharing ideas. The meditating brain was a more unified, interconnected system.
But okay, the changes weren't just some electrical patterns in the brain. This is where the story gets really, really wild when we look at what was happening in their blood.
Just look at this. This is maybe the most mind-blowing finding of the whole study. Researchers took blood plasma from people before the retreat and after the retreat, and they used it to grow neurons in a lab dish. The neurons on the right, fed with post-retreat plasma, show so much more growth and connection than the ones on the left. The difference is just undeniable.
So what does this actually mean? It means that in just 7 days, the actual chemical soup in their bodies had changed. It literally became a richer, more supportive fertilizer for brain cells. That's enhanced neuroplasticity, right there in a petri dish. And the changes didn't stop there. The study found these huge spikes in the body's own natural opioids, like beta-endorphin and dynorphin. These are the molecules that give you that runner's high. The participants weren't just saying they felt better. Their bodies were actively making more of the chemicals that create feelings of well-being. And the team just kept finding more and more molecular changes. There was a huge shift in how their cells produced energy, signs of rapid cellular repair happening on a massive scale, almost like the body was doing a major system cleanup. But one of the biggest changes of all was in how the body handled an amino acid called tryptophan. Now, I know this slide looks like a chemistry final, but don't worry about the details. Here's the simple takeaway. The tryptophan pathway is just the body's recipe for using this molecule. And that's a huge deal, because tryptophan is the essential raw ingredient your brain needs to make crucial stuff like serotonin, the happiness molecule, and melatonin for sleep. The retreat was literally changing the chemical building blocks available to the brain.
So, we've got a less divided, more integrated brain, and we have blood chemistry that's basically supercharged for neuron growth and well-being. The big question is, how? How did this happen? Well, the researchers proposed this really cool theory that ties it all together. It's called the Bayesian brain theory. And the core idea is that your brain isn't just a passive observer reacting to stuff. Nope, it's an active prediction machine. Based on all your past experiences and beliefs, it's constantly making its best guess about what's going to happen next, and it pre-adjusts your body's physiology, your hormones, your immune system to get ready for that predicted reality. So check out how these 3 techniques work together to basically hack that prediction machine. First, the lectures changed the brain's core beliefs about what the mind and body can do. Then the healing rituals created a positive experience that didn't fit with old expectations, forcing the brain to go, maybe my old predictions are wrong. And finally, meditation, that just quieted the whole prediction machine down, weakening old thought patterns and creating space where new, present-moment information could take over.
As the researchers themselves put it, these 3 techniques likely work together, synergistically, to facilitate a more flexible and adaptive prediction system. It's this fundamental change in the brain's predictive model of reality that they believe explains not just the personal transformations people felt, but all those incredible downstream molecular changes they measured in the blood.
And that just leaves us with a pretty profound final thought. This study showed that an intervention based entirely on changing beliefs and directing attention could create widespread, significant, measurable biological changes in just 7 days. It suggests our mind isn't just a passenger in our body, it's the pilot. And if that's true, what else are we capable of?